Khaja Sadruddin by Rumi from the book of Masnavi. As you know, Rumi speaks in codes, especially in this book, the book of Masnavi. Imagine Khaja is symbolizing God, life, the divine grace, higher power, whatever you want to call it. And the man is symbolizing human being, woman, man, who is in a quest to find happiness, satisfaction. This story kind of starts in this man, we call him the man, in his quest to get a bounty, a blessing from Khaja. And he tries everything. Khajas tend to kind of give away gold to people he thinks they have received the certain level of humility and they are close to, or they are on the right path of a spiritual path, to freedom, to bliss, to freedom from ego, or they are in real need. So first thing, he just goes and asks Khaja for help, assistance, and Khaja says, I don't think you need it, sort of. And then the next time comes and pretends he's got a problem, huge, whatever, he's in debt, etc., etc. Says, nope, not interested, I'm not going to help you. And he says, next time, yeah, he says, he comes in as if he's got a broken leg or hand, like a disabled person. He says, like, look, I'm really in need. Again, Khaja doesn't give it to him. He says, not, I don't believe you. And this carries on. He pretends he's a woman amongst the widows, seeking help from Khaja. He gives to some of them, doesn't give it to him. He pretends he's blind, he covers his eyes and everything. And Khaja is able to see the fact of the matter. He's able to see what's going on inside his mind and heart. And he sees his tricks. And again, doesn't give it to him. He tries a variety of tricks. And then one day he goes to the guy who wraps up bodies in the cloth, dead people in the cloth, mortician, I don't know in English. And then he says, you know what, let's do something, let's do a deal together. You wrap me in a white cloth, put me beside the street, this road that Khaja passes every day, and then if Khaja throw me money, we can go 50-50. And that they, you know, the mortician kind of gets intrigued by the 50% of the share, and he agrees. So he does so, and the Khaja comes and sees the dead person beside the streets and throws some gold coins. And the man, who's scared that the mortician come and take half of it, he just pulls his hand quickly out of the cloth and take the money and laughs at Khaja. Just say, finally I got your bounty, I got money from you. You didn't want to give anything to me. Now you see I got it, and this is a bless for me. And Khaja laughs. He says, I didn't give it to you until you pretended. At least you pretended you did. You're on the right path. You're on the path of death. Now, why the path of death is the right path? So in order to get the divine's grace, if you are willing, your will would not open space for the God's will. So it has to be, we can't have two kings in one castle, as we say in Persian. If ego is operating, God cannot operate. So ego has to be submit itself at least to death, at least submit itself to death. I and my will have to submit myself, surrender myself to death, to God, so God's grace can come in. We have another expression in Persian. We say, learn the way of humility, because if a land is high up, when the water runs, is not going to go to the higher bits. It's going to always fall onto the lower bits of the ground. So if you're on the lower, when you're humble, you will receive the God's grace, the universe, the life's grace. So another way of looking at it is like, a person who's trying to drive and achieve and control is usually full of anxiety, doesn't have serenity, and peace and serenity and joy are always stick together. And a person who's ambitious, I want that, and is driven and is seeking control over life, is usually not peaceful. Not peaceful. Hafiz says, I heard in the last night, I heard this from the guy, the wine seller. So, the person who sells wine, serves wine, is the person who is God usually, or a person who is receiving the grace of God, which is the wine, leaves you with the intoxication of love, wine of love. The wine seller told me a secret. He says, life becomes really hard with the people who try a lot, try too much, try. دوش با من گفت کاردانی تیز هوش و از شما پنهان نشاید کرد سر می فروش. گفت آسان گیر بر خود کارها که از روی طبع سخت میگردد جهان با مردمان سخت کوش. گفت take it easy. Take it easy, because the nature of life is it really becomes heavy and rough with the people who are taking life seriously. They try too much.